Apple is about to let conspiracy theories back on the iPhone. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Yep, we are talking about Parler again. This one always gets me into trouble, but what the heck? It's Thursday. Or is it Friday? When's this video go up? I don't know. Anyway, if you haven't liked these videos, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification for future videos. Okay, so, Parler, it's a conservative Facebook. That's basically what it is. I know that Parler bills itself as the free speech social media network, and to a certain extent they are. I mean, they have let things slip on that site and go unmoderated that are not very good. Things that instruct violence, some violence. But there's also, a lot of good people on Parler. I know that there's some people who just don't like Facebook and they want to get away from the big tech and they want to support another platform. I have no issue with that. But Parler was pretty much unanimously removed from all of the platforms. We're talking about Apple, Google, Amazon. All these places either stopped hosting the app or they stopped hosting the server. And so Parler basically was deplatformed by the big tech. And of course, a lot of conservatives screamed foul. That's a conspiracy theory against conservatives. And well, maybe that's what it is. Or maybe it was also the fact that big tech does talk to each other and they have an oligopoly. And they basically saw how popular Parler was becoming and didn't want a new competitor. Well, Apple has made a shocking announcement a few days ago saying that they will reinstate Parler on their Apple Store. This comes from CNBC. Apple will allow controversial social media app Parler back onto the iPhone App Store, according to a letter released Monday by Representative Ken Buck, Republican, Colorado. Apple removed the app in January after Parler was used to publicize the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot when the app's content featured calls for violence and other illegal activity. Now, it should be noted that there were similar calls like this on Facebook and Twitter, because it's not like conservatives don't use Facebook and Twitter. They seem to be migrating to Parler and Minds and Gab, because they don't like the fact that their vaccine conspiracy theories are fact-checked. I mean, they are fact-checked. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to... I'm just going to state it right now. A lot of the theories you guys have about vaccines are... I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, conservatives do use Twitter and Facebook, though, and those platforms were not removed from the Apple Store. So, that was kind of a problem. Anyway, Parler has updated its app and improved its content moderation, an Apple official wrote in a letter. As of April 14th, Apple's app review department had approved the changes, and an updated version of Parler will be approved by Apple, the letter said. Quote, Apple anticipates that the updated Parler app will become available immediately upon Parler releasing it, Timothy Powderly, Apple's Senior Director for Government Affairs, wrote in the letter, which was addressed to Buck and Senator Mike Lee, Republican, Utah. Buck said in a tweet that the decision was, quote, a huge win for free speech. The Parler app was not available for download on an iPhone on Monday morning, and a Parler representative said the app would relaunch on Apple's App Store next week. So it might even next Tuesday, but if you're watching this video, it might be up by now. We have worked to put in place systems that will better detect unlawful speech and allow users to filter content undesirable to them while maintaining our strict prohibition against content moderation based on viewpoint, Parler interim CEO Mark Meckler said in a statement. Now, what's interesting about this is apparently the last CEO, the guy who founded Parler, was removed from the site as CEO because, in his words, he wanted to moderate Parler better. Like, hey, I'm all for free speech, but maybe we're being a little too lenient, because the thing about the internet is, like, once you create something that says, hey, free speech is here, anything goes, you can say whatever you want, you find out how dark the world really is. You find out how sick people really are. I'm not talking about conservative viewpoints. I'm talking about people with views on what you can and can't do as children, what you can and can't do with recreational such and such. I'm trying to be careful because of the YouTube, censoring thing. You find out what people consider to be appropriate for getting even with things that you don't like. And yes, I am fully aware that people on the left feel these things too. It's not exclusive to the right. I am not saying that at all. What I am saying is that Parler found out that when you say, hey, anything goes, you get some pretty dark and disturbing viewpoints, and it does need to be moderated. My viewpoint is like, look, as long as it's not illegal, and as long as it's not misinformation that could intentionally hurt people, like the Tide Pod challenge, I'm actually totally in favor of YouTube removing Tide Pod challenge videos because it encourages kids to do something that is potentially very, very dangerous. So, but apparently the last Parler CEO didn't want to do that, and he was let go. And now the new interim CEO, Mark Meckler, is saying that they do want to do that. Now, maybe the other CEO was lying. Maybe he was the one who didn't want to put any sort of moderation on the site, and the board wanted to moderate. Who knows? There's always two sides of every story, and who knows who's who. But that's where we are right now. So, Parler is a social network that competes with companies such as Twitter and Facebook. It was initially advertised as a website and app with an emphasis on free speech and significantly less content moderation. It is popular with people who supported former President Donald Trump. And really the main reason is because people got sick. And I'm not saying they should have gotten sick, but people did not like that they were posting new articles about like vaccine and masks that were just frankly not true. And Facebook and Twitter, look, they're kind of in a precarious situation because I think Facebook and Twitter's legal argument all this time has basically been that they are not a publisher, they are a platform. But because they can ban people and they can remove posts, that does make them a publisher. So when things that could be potentially dangerous and misinformative show up, Facebook and Twitter are much more liable to be sued because they show that they can take it out. So now they're taking a harder stance. They are putting, disclaimers on things. Not everything you read on the internet is true, folks. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like a step up sometimes where it's like, oh, well, did you hear that this happened and this is this? And it's like, well, where did you hear that? Oh, Bobby from the 5th grade said it. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like. And Facebook and Twitter are trying to devalue that because things get trending and they start harming people. But why is Parler coming back? I think that's really the main thing you all want to know. Like, why would Apple, after you removing Parler, pretty much calling it a dangerous site, calling it a tool for people who want to incite violence, like, why would they let it back on? And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, the hearings for antitrust laws have begun this week. And basically, I think Apple's trying to get out from ahead of these hearings, as they say, and say, look, we are not a monopoly. Look, see, we asked Parler to improve their moderation. They've improved it. It's back on the Apple Store. We are not a monopoly. We are not trying to stifle competition. And I think that has more to do with this than anything else. Now, am I going to go use Parler now? No. I mean, I do have a Parler account. I made it in that video, so it is technically there, but I don't really use Parler. But really, I'm just kind of the opinion that basically these social media sites are just all bad for us. I mean, it doesn't matter which platform I'm on. I'm seeing conspiracy theories all the time. Whether it's coming from Proud Boys or Black Lives Matter, they're all saying these extreme things. They have these extreme viewpoints that are not 100% factual. Most situations, the truth is in the middle. Life is gray. It's not black and white for the most part. And it's just crazy. And it was bad enough on Facebook how tribal things got. But now that we have like another website, it's like now we're going to get to the point where it's like, okay, the liberals hang on Facebook and the conservatives hang on Parler. And it's like, I don't think this is how it should be at all. I don't think this is how we should be living life. Heck, I don't even think we should be discussing politics that much since it bothers people so much. I mean, hey, look, you know what? Let's talk about Avatar. Like, does Avatar hold up? I think that would be a much more interesting conversation, and it wouldn't result in such passionate discussions that ultimately split people up. I mean, it's just crazy how the last several years people have actually lost relationships. Like I know people got divorced because of who they voted for, and this is just absolutely insane as far as I'm concerned. So as far as I'm concerned, Parler, they can suck it. Facebook, they can suck it. I guess I technically am still on Twitter, but I just do jokes on Twitter, and I primarily use Twitter as a way to find out when Xbox Series X's and PlayStation 5s drop for my eBay store. So Twitter is, at least business-wise, a very valid tool if you want to use it for your eBay store. In fact, a video about how to do that will be coming soon. But yeah, for those of you who are interested, Parler's back on the Apple Store, or at least it will be very, very soon. Enjoy if you want. Me, I am, for the most part, enjoying my life social media free. Except for YouTube and Twitch. So you know the drill. Aside from wanting to know what you think about this and whether or not you will be rejoining Parler or whether you're going to stay away from it, you can comment your thoughts below. Heck, you can even tell me I'm completely wrong for thinking that, these conspiracy theories are wrong. But, you can comment below. You can like, favorite, share, subscribe here and on Twitch. Love to hear from you guys. And as always, flame responsibly and love one another. Take care.